Alrighty. So, what happened today? That larger than normal dead zone, as we talked about yesterday, uh, proved to be true with the choppiness. It was larger than normal. That indicated to me that we should expect some chop, though you can't play it inside. I'm having an article come out on how to play it when it's larger using the top, middle, and bottom. But we had some peaks to the downside, and that's what ended up confirming throughout the day, push to the downside. uh, Definitely want you to take into account the difference between ETH or levels that apply all day and then levels that apply just for RTH. Just take that into account. What we could have learned from today is these peaks below the dead zone lets us to know that there's comfortability to the downside. You can see this if you backtest, and we reject this top. So there was reluctance to go to the upside, and then we ultimately accepted more downside from the dead zone. For shorts to median range, you could have taken TP at important support or try to play a quick reversal like some did. So also discussed the, well, that's not it. That's not real. I was copying levels, but we discussed closes below, and you could have taken profit down. So that's a good lesson for NQ, how that responds to the top, middle, and bottom of the dead zone. For ES, what did we have? We had similar situation, but the yellow box was catching the top of it. Could have taken some scalp short, but ultimately this resistance did not allow any further, any continuation. So it's tough. It was tough. But at the top of this yellow box, you could have done a similar situation as you could have with NQ and taken that short down. But again, good lesson. Study how that top, middle, and bottom are respected on days where the dead zone is larger than normal. All right, let's look at today, or going into August 12th. Notice, take notes. Overnight ceiling has moved up significantly beyond the weekly ceiling. Yesterday, median range was above overnight ceiling. Now, overnight ceiling is above weekly ceiling and median range is below overnight ceiling. Look at the downside. Overnight floor was significantly lower. Now overnight floor is moved up to what's a normal distance to the dead zone. This is on NQ. It's very interesting because that means that there is comfortability now to the upside beyond the weekly ceiling. So we can get some price exploration, especially with CPI. And if we start getting really bullish momentum, then a decision is being established for a bull market where we start pushing to 25,000 and more. I think that's what the number is, but that's very significant for larger trend, longer term cycles. So because of that, there will be attempts by sellers. So I have these fly or die zones. It's rather big, about 30 points, 40 points on NQ, but it's a big zone that also has overnight ceiling, a large daily imprint from wave 7, and other resistances around 24,000. That's psychological. It's really, really important. So we might get some exploration and then a very strong seller effort. But there's going to be a lot of stuff on the way there. So what's going on? We have these vectors that have not revised downwards because we had such aggressive action towards the end of the day. If you're trading overnight, ETH buyer target upon dead zone break, 708. Don't pay attention to that. This is Tuesday resistances, so pay attention to that. But upon the wave 7 hourly break, hourly closes above, you can target 750. So those are some targets relative to where there are breaks. On the downside, we start getting some resistance, maybe around PML or already the wave 15-minute vector, wave 10, 15-minute vector. Look for just entry and chop around here, but you could take some sell short scalps down to seller target if we get breaks below. I mean, this is really close, but you could take some scalps if the opportunity presents itself that you got momentum to the downside. This is super important here. Supportive target and median range. Now, they are about 30, 40 points apart, but I'm looking for a big attempt to recover this if we get down here. It's a supportive target. There's a lot of support, and it's a target for sellers. So if we can have continuation from 580, you can target 530 and get out and possibly flip long. Or if you want, you could leave runners for median range. Into RTH tomorrow, if we start getting some aggressive seller action, maybe from CPI news or whatever, this is going to look like a big knife. Maybe some recovery and a big knife. There is high probability for first knife catch attempt. I'm just calling it that here, meaning there is white space between these areas. And these are pauses along the way that can happen. 450, 380, and then finally hitting the floor at 330. With that wave 7 daily vector, I don't expect that to be tested tomorrow, but with CPI, we might get the catalyst. Ultimately, if we get further downside in ETH or at news release before the morning, before RTH, I'm definitely paying attention to 530. If we get recovery from what happened in the afternoon, definitely paying attention for support above PML. PML is a good sentiment for the day from the market maker tool. Let me know which side market makers are more comfortable with. Not only can you use the dead zone, but for further confirmation, you can use the PML and the vectors too. These will revise these vectors, but I leave them there because QQQ has and respects them once RTH opens. Replay this video if you have to. But movement to what? Well, for ETH buyers, these two white levels, which I already explained, into RTH if we get momentum and support above. Definitely targeting median range, and this is important. I'm almost treating this important resistance like a fly or die zone to push into weekly ceiling and into the really big fly or die zone. So that's NQ. What about ES? This is a longer video, but I hope it's helping. Similar situation, using this to help me get some bias for volatility either to the upside or downside. Easy seller target if we get some movement down. If in overnight we start rejecting at the pivot, you could 5-minute closes, may close and retest above target this pivot 12 to 14. If we start getting resistance here, anywhere from 12 to about 18, or immediate resistance, you could target this down, TP here, the yellow box, hold, TP at the bottom of the yellow box, seller target, and hold runners if you want. Maybe for an important support with CPI and a recovery above. This is very, very important. Similar to how I would treat these areas here. There's going to be knife catch attempts if we get really aggressive sellers come in. Median range overlapping this important support, and then a reversion possibility at wave 7 daily to move back up. So to the upside, if we get continuous support and velocity through the teens, you can hold to the fly or die zone, especially the median range overlapping with that. You could take a major trim. This would be into RTH, I suspect, with a lot of momentum from the news catalyst, long target, and then we're going to be met with hard resistance, similar to this fly or die big zone. So if we break above that, this is going to go parabolic. It's going to be another fly or die opportunity. That's 64.60. But we're really chugging along as we get up there. About 70 points, 60, 70 points. So it can happen for sure. So I hope you replay this video, get some ideas, study the chart, ask any questions that you have in the Discord.